What's up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Books, Business, and Branding for authors or writers. I am your host, Ashley M. King, and today we're going to talk about how to get your book on the shelves of bookstores and major retailers. So one of my popular videos that I'll post right here. You guys are loving that video, and I get a lot of questions from that video, and I want to read one particular one that I received recently, okay? And the question says, "Dear Ashley, I watched your video on YouTube, and I have been writing books for 13 years, and I still don't have my books in Barnes & Noble store. But today, I submitted my fiction book to Barnes & Noble's at corporate office. I was denied years ago because I was with Amazon, but now my books are published with Ingram Spark. And on, I guess, Walmart.com and Barnes & Noble's Press Online. My question is, do you think Barnes & Noble's will say yes this time to my book since I have Ingram Spark? And if so, could I submit my other 3 books with Barnes & Noble's corporate? And lastly, how many books will they order for their stores if they say yes?" So I definitely want to thank that viewer for sending in that question. I did reply to them via email, but I also want to provide you with this same information. I am not a buyer for Barnes & Noble's or any major retailer or company, so I cannot give specific answers as far as how many books they will order and if they will even accept it this time around. But I do want to share some information that I was able to uncover while researching this. So the first aspect are the things that I guess you can handle to give your book a better chance to be picked up by buyers. And then we're going to talk about how to develop that relationship with your local bookstores to build that demand. And then we're going to actually look at Barnes & Noble's website to see how you can pitch your book for consideration to their corporate office. All right, so the first one, right, that you need to do is make sure your book looks as professional as possible. You want to talk about the book cover, right? So I see a lot of self-published authors that either design the book cover themselves or just maybe creating something on Canva. Nothing wrong with Canva, but if you do not have that artistic eye, not just an artistic eye, but an artistic eye for book covers in the publishing industry, to know what sells, to know what people look for in a specific genre, then I would suggest you to outsource this particular task to a professional, right, that handles designing book covers. Because I've actually had an author who paid someone to actually draw out their book cover, which is great. The author is very passionate about their books, but the problem was the image was incorrect. So when it came to laying it out for the book cover, the actual, what should have been in the front of the image was on the back, and what was on the back should be on the front. Like, the image has to be reversed. So I don't want to say a waste of money. We was able to utilize it by, finessing some things around, but it wasn't the greatest experience. Had you known what to look for, what to do, it would have saved that entire headache. So definitely please outsource this particular task. I have my Get It Done publishing company that we help numerous authors successfully self-publish and get their book out there to their target audience. All right, so next, definitely you should already have the book professionally edited. Please, 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 professionally edited. And I know if your budget cannot afford a professional editor, please have several eyes. If you have anyone that maybe has a English background, whether in college, English teacher, please have several rounds of revision. A lot of times people come and say, I just need my book proofread, which they don't. They rather need copy and line editing. reading is the absolute last after your book has already been formatted. So after your book has been edited and formatted, then you're going to proofread to make sure there's no widows, no, periods or commas in the wrong place. That is the absolute last type of editing you need, which is proofreading. So make sure that you get your book professionally edited. The next one to talk about is the ISBN and barcodes. A lot of times I get authors who are very excited to self-publish their book on Amazon, and then they come back and they're like, oh, well, I've heard of Ingram. I've heard of other, platforms that I would like to publish my book on, or even I want to sell on my website. Even though Amazon, Ingram, I believe Draft2Digital, all these other platforms provide free ISBNs, I highly recommend you to either purchase yours directly from Bowker, I always say wrong, Bowker, BOWKER.com, or from a publishing company. Depending on the book, the author, I will put my ISBN barcode from my publishing company, Get It Done Publishing, on their book. That does not entitle us to any rights or royalties or anything to your book. It's just important because when we talk about later on building relationships with the bookstore, they're going to look at the ISBN. And a lot of bookstores do not like Amazon because they've taken a lot of business from them, right? And so when you have a ISBN, let's just say you as an author purchase your ISBN, if you can, actually have a legit company. So if I just had Ashley King books, that's not as professional as saying Get It Done Publishing, right? It gives you that more credibility that is actually established by a publishing company versus it's just your name on the ISBN. So definitely purchase your ISBN and your barcode and have those uploaded to your book when it's in the designing phase. All right, so next, let's see. Accepting returns and your wholesale discount. If you watched the popular video that I talked about, I placed here, when you are uploading to Ingram, they are treating you as a traditional publishing company, so you do need to leave a credit card on file. You do need to, you don't have to offer wholesale discounting at all. I don't think so, yeah. But generally, they are expecting, I believe, 30 to 55%, or they may be 35 to 55, but 55% is the highest cap. Because if you're selling a book for $20, the bookstore is not expecting to buy that from you for $20. They're expecting to get it from you for $10 or even $9 so that they can make a sale, make a profit on your book. And let's just say your book is $20 inside the retail store, but yet they want to offer a discount. Maybe they are having a 40% off sale in the bookstore, or whatever type of discount they're offering, and your book is found to be within that discount. They still want to be able to make a profit. So generally, when you are looking to get your book into a major retailer such as Barnes and Nobles, or on the bookshelves of Target or Walmart, or Books A Million, they are looking, one, that your books are returnable. Meaning that if by chance they purchase 10,000 copies of your book and within 6 months they only sell 9,500 copies, they have the capability to return 500 copies of the book and get their money back. Guess what? With Ingram, your credit card has to be on file, so you will be charged that 500, whatever cost for the 500 books. You can have them either shipped back to you or have them destroyed. Nonetheless, the bookstore is expecting to get their money back for those 500 copies not sold. And also, in addition to having them to be returnable, you need to offer that wholesale discount. So whether it's that 30 to 55%, within there they're expecting that. Generally, they expect 55%. So you just want to weigh your options when you are desiring to get your book onto the major retailers. Like if you are an entrepreneur, you already have a following, you have a funnel system in place, and you are generating the sales, you have to think about that when you are, let's just say you do successfully get your book into Barnes and Nobles, Target, Walmart, Books A Million, all these different platforms that you want them to be on, your royalties of what you are expecting to receive will go down 50 to possibly 75%. 50 to 75%, because you got to pay the middleman, you got to pay the bookstore. Everyone is expecting their cut. Now, granted, you know, if your book does take off and sells millions and you become a New York best time seller, great, bravo. But that doesn't happen to a lot of the authors. It doesn't happen to a majority of us. So just think about that when you are going to put your book on, you know, all these different retailers. And I actually... it's so funny because the people's mindset is if your book is on Target, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles, then you've actually made it. But there are some people who actually got signed a traditional publishing contract, maybe only made $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 from that particular book sale, and really haven't recouped or made any money from that because their book isn't selling, but yet you can find it on, you know, Barnes and Nobles, or maybe the local area, the regional area, or whatever it may be, and that's success for them. But if you're someone that understands business, by me doing a little more work by shipping out my books, I'd rather make $10 to $15 per book versus $2 to $3 per book and having it everywhere. So and my story I was going to get, I actually met a young lady that I had worked with in the past, and I told her, you know, I had a book out, my particular book, You Got This Mama, a tribute to new and expecting moms. And she was like, oh, great, you know, tell me where I can find it. I was like, my website, you know, I'm selling on my website. Oh, it's not in Barnes and Nobles or Amazon or anything of that nature. Is my book on Amazon? No, my book, no, it's not. It's not. I didn't put it on those platforms because, Ingram did a whole nother video about that. I didn't like the paper they used. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell this book myself. Do a little bit more work and get a higher profit per book. All right, so not to get off on a tangent. Next, so once you actually make sure that the book in itself can competitively rival a traditional published book, then you want to talk about the marketing aspect. Get your pitch together, right? Not just why your book is good, right? Because everyone's book is good. But what book sellers or bookstores care about is why your book is going to sell, right? I mean, great, you have a good book, but how's that going to help my pocket? Like me putting your books on my bookshelf, how is that going to bring in profits into my store? Like, what makes your book sell? So besides, you know, being an Amazon bestseller, which once again, bookstores are not like Amazon, have your book won any awards? Like, how many copies of your book have already sold? What is the currently marketing strategy that you have? Any other materials that you have that can impress that bookseller? Now, this is generally, later on in the video, I will talk about Barnes and Noble specifically. They do have that information out there, but this is just generally if you want to go to your local bookstore. Maybe within your particular area there's a company that owns 5 to 10 bookstores in the area. This is a great start if you are trying to pitch a big company like Barnes and Nobles and Target to say that, hey, within Get It Done Publishing Bookstores, which they have 15 locations within Atlanta, Georgia. I have sold 25,000 copies within 6 months. I think those are some great numbers, right? And that is a good reason to say, hey, within this local area, based on the marketing that I have done, I was able to sell 25,000 copies within this amount of time. I think that's something they will take notice to, right? So you want to talk about your achievements and different things that you have done with your book, like the marketing strategy, the marketing plan that you have in place that has garnered you the success that you have as well. So next, physically what you've done, you want to make sure that your book is on Ingram. Right now, Ingram is the largest wholesaler or largest distributor out there, but it is not the only distributor out there. And I will do another video about other distributors that you can use to get your book into major retailers. But Ingram, it is the largest, so that is why you would hear me and perhaps other people talk about Ingram, because it is the largest. That is the one that most retailers go to see if they're interested in purchasing your books. All right, and let me do a little backtracking. Also, in your marketing plan, you want to talk about any press release, any blogs that is in there, podcasts, all those different things are what you want to talk about in your pitch letter, your marketing kit. You want to present your book in the best way, in the best light possible, right? You want to have this all together. All right, and so now we want to make sure that our book is on Ingram. So when you do go into these bookstores, you know, and you build that relationship, that one-on-one with that particular buyer of that local bookstore, the regional bookstore, you want to let them know, hey, this is all what I've been able to accomplish with my books. It won awards. I've been on this, you know, podcast. These are the reviews that I have. And build that relationship. And if you see that they're type of hesitant, say, hey, how about I do a book signing at your store, right? And based on the turnout, the book buys that we have, we could just do a test run. Maybe I'll bring in, you know, 50 copies of the book and we see how it sells. And based on what you see that day or that night of the book signing, you can make your decision off of that. Now, books are just not going to sell on their own. People are just not going to show up to the book signing. You have to do the work. I know a lot of authors, we are behind the scene. We don't want to be bothered with people. We want to stay to ourselves. We don't want to do the marketing aspect. But if you don't have a marketing team, you are the team. You are the sales team. You are the marketing team. You're gonna handle it all until, you know, you generate the sales to bring other people on, or you just find a kind-hearted person who really believes in you and going to work pro bono. Either way, you have to do the work. So start going, you know, live on your social media platforms, going out into the community, let people know that you are having this book signing, to let them know that, you know, if you have a great turnout, if people come out and purchase, that this is an opportunity for your dreams to come true as an author, to be on the bookshelves. And this is just, you know, step one or the beginning of many things. So you have to still go out here and network, do the work. You know, people need to know who you are. They need to see your face. Why do they need to purchase your book? Yes, it's good, but how is it going to help them in their particular lives? Why should they spend their hard-earned money, whether it's $15, $20, $30? Why should I spend my money on your book? And as an author, I know we are highly invested in our books, but you have to think about it from a consumer standpoint. Like, why am I going to spend my money with you? And why am I going to spend this money on this particular book? So that's why you need to think about, when you are pitching to a bookstore, why your book is going to sell. And also when you're speaking to the consumer, the reader, you know, why should they purchase your books? All right. So hopefully, you know, you have a great turnout with the book signing, and the bookstore owner will take that leap of faith and, you know, start that initial purchase with you. And they will purchase the books through Ingram, which they will look at, you know, the discount that you offer, all the books returnable, all those different things that I kind of talked about before that they will consider, because they are in it for business. They want to make sure they have a profit. Another thing that you can do, if you're just like, you want to get a feel of it, is when I very first got started, my first book, the S Factor, I actually did my book on consignment at a local bookstore. And I think they were selling at $15 at the time. And we did, I don't know if it was a 70-30, 60-40 split, whatever it was, where if, you know, the book sells, I would get 60 or 70% and they will keep the 30-40. And then after maybe 3 months, I will come back to pick up which books haven't sold, or, you know, if they've all sold, to kind of replenish before then. So that is something you can do to get a taste of having your book physically on the bookshelf. And if there's a local, like a one particular, if you're in a small town, you can start off there. You know, hey, approach them, let them know who you are, your book, why it would sell in their bookstore. And you also need to know the audience of their bookstore, right? If you approach a comic book store and you have a biblical book, you know, something religious, faith-based, that probably won't do well at a comic book store, right? Because their audience is not looking for that. They're coming in there for comics. So while you may be excited to approach a bookstore to have your book on their bookshelves, you want to make sure that that particular audience for the bookstore also lines up with the audience of your book. All right, so we talked about, you know, crafting your pitch, going in to build that relationship with the bookstore owner, you know, telling them why your book will sell, not just why it's good. Also talk about, if it's like a local bookstore, how you can do consignment sales. And those generally work good for the local stores. And also, if you're doing a book signing, bring a crowd, do a test run. Let them know that the people in that local area will come out to purchase your book. Like, you do have a following, you do have a crowd. And if you do this first run with me and, you know, I sell at least 80% of the books that are here, then, you know, you'll craft that partnership, or create that partnership in which you would keep your, you know, books on the bookshelves for the next 6 months or whatever the agreement is. All right. And so next, I believe we talked about what you need to do, building that relationship. And guys, just kind of go in, even if you're still in the process of writing your book, or you're not necessarily confident in pitching right away. Maybe you need to work on your pitch kit, your press kit. Still go in and talk to the local bookstore owner. Let them know that, hey, I'm a local author. I have a book coming out in the next 3 months, you know, entitled X, Y, and Z. I just want to build this relationship with you. See, you know, what books sell well in your bookstore. What type of books are you looking for? Are you open for this type of genre in your book? And to the person who sent in the question, I can't give a definite answer. Why? Because bookstores or retailers also look at books that are in the similar genre and see how they've done in the past as well. So sometimes if books in a particular genre haven't done well that are similar to yours, they're perhaps not inclined to pick up that book. However, if they've known that that particular audience, maybe in a region or just overall in their store, does well, then yes. So I, you know, couldn't give a definite answer. As I said in my response to them, there are many different things to think of. But I'm sharing with you the things that you as an author can control on your end. Alright, so next we're actually going to look at Barnes & Noble's website. Let me get this together. Alright, so if you go to Barnes & Noble's website, they actually have the things that they look for in order to sell your book to them. So if you go here, they ask that you please do not send in physical book submissions to the small press department. Unsolicited materials sent to the office will not be returned. If you have a compelling marketing plan, once again, it is important that you have a marketing plan, that press kit, things that you've done already to show the success of this book, or expecting significant media / publicity that would drive customers to book retailers looking for your title. You can email them. All right, you need the ISBN of your title, the subject line in your email, details on your marketing media publicity, the name of the wholesaler distributor that is handling your fulfillment of the retail trade. And the reason why they don't want it to be you, like myself, is because they can order 25,000 books. That's probably on the low end. They can order 100,000 books at a time. And me trying to, one, I'll have to go to the printer, get 100,000 copies printed, and then turn around and mail them out. Versus Ingram, they can print them right there and have 100,000 copies shipped to, you know, that retail office within the X amount of time frame. A link to your title on bnm.com, right? So they are already expecting your book to be on their online retailer. So that's another reason why it's important that your book is on Ingram, because when you upload it to Ingram, you have that capability of putting it on Barnes & Noble's online website. And then also your hometown. All right, so the review process with Barnes & Nobles can take 4 to 6 weeks. And you will be contacted via email with their decision. All books will be considered for store placement based on the subject matter and sellability. All right, so once again, there's so many factors that go into your particular book. And I would say maybe, you know, the hometown, they take that in consideration. Maybe if your book does well with a particular market or particular region, instead of doing all of their Barnes & Noble store, maybe they just do stores within the local region, right? Which would make sense. Because if I have a cookbook that does quite well in, you know, the South, you know, because we may fry things, we like sweetness, you know, we like all that, versus maybe California, that's more on the healthy tip. Maybe as a buyer, I'm thinking, you know, hey, this wouldn't do so well on the West Coast because there may be more health conscious than the South Coast. But these are Southern, geechee, gullah recipes that will do quite well in Southern Belt. So how about we take this book and just focus it on the Southern market? Those are just different things as a book buyer, right? If I'm thinking of a corporation, billions of dollars, these are just the few of the many different things they think about. All right. And they also have a list here where you can click on the FAQs. Does your book have to have an ISBN? Yes, it does. I think, and they actually have a ISBN.org they have here. Does your book need to have a barcode? Yes. They also, what sort of binding is your book? These are different things they consider: the trade, paperback, hardcover, audiobook, etc. Is your book available through a wholesaler? So they go through these type of things. Is your book priced competitively with other titles in similar topics and quality? I did not touch upon that, but that goes back to knowing the marketability in the audience, right? So if they look at a book, the book buyer looks at a book that is similar to yours, and maybe that particular book did quite well, but it sold at a $20 price point, and you're selling at $25, they will take that in consideration, because people can be picky, you know. There's a marketing technique as why stuff is labeled, 99 cent, or ends in 99, or ends in 97 or 95. There's a marketing strategy behind that. So maybe, you know, they're interested in your book. They may approach you and say, hey, we're willing to purchase this book, but we want it at the $20 rate versus the $25, because due to, you know, statistics and our study, books similar to this have done quite well. But when we tested it out to sell it at $25, we noticed that the sales decline. It probably ain't gonna be all that detailed, which I don't know. But we noticed that when it was $20, that was like the target number that worked quite well and helped the book to do sales. All right, so I hope that has helped you. Just to kind of recap, you want to focus on things that you can control: the book cover, the editing, that you're purchasing your ISBN to make it, you know, look professional, not have it on Amazon. Local book retailers, they're not too fond of Amazon because Amazon has taken business from them. Your marketing packet, marketing strategy. You know, have you put this book out in award competition? Has it won any awards? Different things of that nature. What are the press that you have done? Have you sent it off to your local newspaper? Maybe got picked up in a newspaper. Have you done, been on the local news? These are just different things that can help you garner the attention that you desire in order to get your book in placement in the local and major retailers. And reach out to the local booksellers. Let them know that your book is available on Ingram Spark, and that you're looking to build that relationship and possibly have you want your book on the bookshelves, and pitch them as far as just having a book signing. Can we do a test run and see how it works out? Within the next 3 months, can you purchase 100 copies of my books, whatever whatever the size of the bookstore may be, because 100 copies may be too big. Let's just say, hey, for the next 3 months, can we try 50 books? And you as an author, you're still promoting your book. Let them know that your book is available with the local bookstore. Another website that I actually use, I believe, let me go ahead, bookshop.org. Bookshop.org. I actually have, I sell books through there. And the beautiful thing about it is that when your book sells that you promote or whatever, the money, or when people buy the book, the money is donated to local bookstores. So one of your pitches that you can use if it's a local bookstore is to say, hey, I have my book. It is on Ingram. I put it on bookshop.org, and the proceeds from my book sales, it's going to be donated to your bookstore. I think that's a great sell right there. So their website is bookshop.org. I'll put that link down below. And then next, after you've kind of created that relationship, and you're ready to kind of go to barnesandnobles.com. Hey, go ahead. We talked about what they look for. Godspeed. And if you guys have done any of these things, please send me your questions. Give me your feedback. I want to know. I want to hear from you guys. I love it when you email me. I learn from you guys just as much as you learn from me. So it's a win-win. It's a partnership here. All right. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Once again, my name is Ashley M. King. I am the Get It Done Queen, and I help people of faith tell their story through writing a book and leverage their message to create brands and not just books. To learn more about me, you can go to www.ashleymking.com. But please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, turn on the notifications for my channel so that you know when I go, my next video is posted. Thank you so much. Love y'all and have a blessed day.